What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? Here we are at about $81,000, down 3.23% today. And something that I found rather interesting is that while Bitcoin's down a decent bit today, the dominance is actually going down as well. This means when the dominance goes down for Bitcoin and Bitcoin's dropping, that means that the average market participant is performing better than Bitcoin today. Bitcoin's dropping. Maybe the average altcoin's dropping too. In fact, I would assume they are, but they're not dropping as hard as Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was dropping and the average altcoin was dropping harder, this dominance would be going up. So this is a very strange, very uncommon situation that we're in, and I don't expect it to persist for too much longer. I very much don't expect that we go above this above that circle there. I don't think that we're going to see new highs in the Bitcoin dominance. I do think that was the high, and I think that'll be the moment we look back on as the high as time goes on. But is this the beginning of alt season? I don't think so. I think we have a little bit more to go, maybe to the upside, maybe time-wise. We have a little bit more to go before the initial, the big drop happens. I think it's dependent on a lot of different factors, but it's kind of odd. I just wanted to point this out that Bitcoin's down today. Bitcoin's even down. Oh no, it's not down this week. Yeah, but Bitcoin's down today, and the average altcoin is holding up better than it, just by a little bit, but still a little bit better. Here we are at $81,000 right now. If we go lower to the land that I've been expecting us to go to, we would probably see prices around $74,500 to $72,800. I'm expecting we do go somewhere between, very specifically, somewhere between $73,000 and $72,000, maybe right smack dab in the middle there. Are we going to be closer to 73 or 72K? I don't know, but something in that range is what I would expect. We could go lower. We could go to 69K. I don't address it as much because I don't think that's where we're going to go. But it could happen. There are a bunch of targets, a bunch of sensible, logical reasons that we could go below 70K, you guys. So don't write that out, and definitely don't crap your pants if we drop down below 70K, okay? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We're all going to sing Kumbaya in a matter of weeks. This drop is going to happen, and it's going to be over before you even know it, man. It's going to be a very phenomenal rip. And I actually have a lot of theories as to why that is. If you want to watch actually my most recent Ethereum video, that could be the devil's in the details with this video, you guys. I think that Ethereum is the key for the Bitcoin dominance to drop, and therefore Bitcoin to rise as well. Again, when Bitcoin dominance drops, almost always that actually means Bitcoin price is moving up. It just means the altcoins are moving up faster, they're moving up harder, right? And the key to the dominance dropping here, really dropping, is it really does lie with Ethereum, to be completely fair. The DXY, a lot of people are actually, I'm going to keep the Bitcoin chart up here real quick. The DXY, a lot of people are thrown off, myself included, because we've dropped a lot on the DXY. We've tanked on the DXY, and Bitcoin has only tanked with it. But what a lot of people fail to mention, and this is something that I've talked about before, I know I've talked about it, we're not having the same reaction that we were looking for, but I know that we've addressed this, at least in my last DXY video that I made. Let's see here. The correlation coefficient. If we correlate this to Bitcoin, people are wondering why we are moving down with the DXY. How is the DXY moving down and Bitcoin's moving down? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does make sense. If you look at the correlation coefficient, which if you don't know what this is it's an indicator that formulates basically the correlation between whatever chart you're looking at and whatever chart you choose, right? I chose Bitcoin USD on, what was that? On the index, the all-time history index, the same chart as this right here, okay? And comparing it to this chart, the closer that you get to a 1, right? This chart goes between 0, -1, and 1, +1. The closer you are to 1, the more positively correlated you are. What does that mean? That means if this thing moves up, Bitcoin moves up. If this thing moves down, Bitcoin moves down. Everybody assumes that they are inversely correlated, but that's not the case. There are times where they're inversely correlated, but this thing actually, it cycles through. It oscillates. It's more of an oscillator than it is a constant, at least for this chart. Not always is the correlation coefficient an oscillator, but oftentimes it is. And for this chart versus the DXY and Bitcoin, it is an oscillator. And what this is telling me is that, yes, while we're moving down, we are correlated with Bitcoin. We are about to start seeing some decorrelation. So one of two things is going to happen. Either the DXY is going to pump and then Bitcoin's going to go down, Or most likely the DXY will continue to go down and Bitcoin will recover at some point. We'll see Bitcoin recover, promoting this decorrelation of these two assets, okay? But people are wondering why they're moving down together. Why is the DXY moving down and Bitcoin's moving down? Well, they've been very correlated recently. They've been correlated since about a year ago. They've been more correlated, even at a neutral correlation where there's not a whole lot going on. They've been more correlated than not. On the weekly time frame, I feel like it's very obvious. You can see that we are about to decouple. We're about to decorrelate, which is a good thing. You want to decorrelate, okay? Hopefully we decorrelate in a good way. Hopefully it's not the DXY going up and Bitcoin going down. We don't want that kind of decorrelation. If the DXY goes up, we want it to be correlated, okay? But we do see, even in times of correlation, Bitcoin makes its best movements up when the DXY is moving down and the correlation is not, it's uncorrelated. That's when we're below the 50 and we're down toward the -1. That's when we do our best. The weekly time frame shows this oscillation, shows or at least indicates that we might be beginning that phase of decorrelation, whatever that brings. The monthly time frame also shows this. If we look at this, it's even more clear, I think, from this correlation coefficient that the DXY is at a point where it normally does flip back down to the decorrelated effect. Okay, so we're looking for, with this flip, we're looking for this very key transitional moment in the DXY Bitcoin comparison. We're looking for the DXY to continue to move down. It's not encouraging. I know it sucks to watch the DXY drop and Bitcoin drop with it. But we're about to change that. The script is about to flip, okay? Just I wanted to address some of that stuff. The Bitcoin dominance is interesting. The DXY is interesting. And some of the reasons why we might not be dropping yet in the dominance, but we have things to look forward to, and why we're dropping in the DXY but not seeing the price of Bitcoin. It's not broken. It's just this is normal for this time, okay? I did expect back here we were going to start to decouple, but we just continue to run. Whatever, it happens. But I think it's clear as day right now. We are in that area. We're at that area where we might have a turning point, a very key turning point in any finale phase of the Bitcoin bull market. In fact, I want to actually, while we're here, let's just complete the thought, okay? And actually, I need to delete that because that's the Coinbase one. We want the all-time history. We're going to compare to Bitcoin on the all-time history index, where you are, right there. Okay, put this on a log scale, if it'll let me. I don't know why. Oh no, are we glitched? Okay, here we go. We're lagging hard. Okay, so if we look here, we put a vertical line at when we decoupled from the DXY here, at when we decoupled from the DXY here, when we decoupled here, and where we might be decoupling here. Here was the finale phase of our 2013 to the end of 2013 cycle, the 2012-2013 cycle. Okay, that was the finale phase, that last phase. Okay, exactly what I'm talking about. Did we see the most growth here? No, but we saw phenomenal growth. Bitcoin did grow a lot. It grew from a price at the low when it started to decouple from the DXY from a low of 150. You can see the price back over here if you're wondering how I'm getting that. 150. I know you're used to it being over here, but when you compare the charts, it puts it over here to a high of $1,206. This is just on a closing price. It went higher than that on a wicking basis, okay? This next one over here, whenever we started to decouple here, Bitcoin had its finale phase of this parabolic cycle. It was at a low of $1,200 to a high of $15,000, okay? Even in last cycle, which sucked, last cycle was terrible. When we started to decouple, Bitcoin grew from a price of about 9,600 all the way up to 69,000, right? 60-something thousand by the end of the cycle, but 69 altogether, okay? Here we are. Here we are now, decoupling. Here we are, likely in our finale phase of this Bitcoin bull cycle, okay? Or at least soon to be. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost there, you guys. And likely this will continue. This will allow us to grow at a more phenomenal rate than we've grown throughout this cycle, right? It might not seem like it, but every single time, if you look at this, you look at this slope here, this was pretty fast, but this was faster. That was a higher slope. This was pretty fast, but this was faster. That was a higher slope. This was pretty fast, but this was faster. It was a higher slope, okay? We're decent. We're going to grow even more decent. The most bullish times are ahead of us, and the devil's in the details, okay? Bitcoin right now likely does complete the thought and it moves all the way down to 72 to 73K. The reason why I think it's going to do that, well, beyond a lot of things, is that on a daily time frame, we're building bearish momentum on the MACD. We are building bearish momentum. There's no reason to believe that we're finding support here. Yes, there's bullish divergence, but not until we stop building bearish momentum. And I think actually this MACD will have a lower read in the histogram before it sees a higher read, if that makes any sense, okay? We had bullish divergence here, and look at what that did for us. It didn't do anything. So don't get too excited over that. The stochastics on the daily were looking phenomenal. We crossed up. We got into the neutral zone, and now we're crossing down again. What's going on, Bitcoin? You're drunk. You're probably going to go back to the oversold zone with this kind of attitude. If you don't want to get bullish, you're going to get bearish, likely, okay? And then the daily RSI here, while you did have bullish divergence, and a lot of people, probably a lot of new people to technical analysis, are counting on this to save the day. It's bullish divergence. I know what I'm talking about. It's going to go up. Well, you did. You're right. You do know what you're talking about. It did go up. It already went back up above where the divergence formed. So this was your bullish divergence move. That's what it was. Everybody thinks bullish divergence, maybe not everybody, but a lot of beginners, myself included when I was a beginner, thought it meant that you have to go through the roof, and that's where you're left with your pants around your ankles, and you get a bearish engulfing candle right down your face. You know, we're likely going to go lower, you guys. It's very clear that what we've done is found resistance at prior areas of support, back here, right? That's all we're doing. From a high to a low, if we go here, we just got right above the 382, and now we're back below the 382. This is very common behavior, but oftentimes if you get below the 236 after getting above the 382, oftentimes you do see a lower low. I'm not saying it has to happen based off of that, but I would expect that it does happen. The daily RSI, bullish divergence, sure, but you can go lower. You can still form another higher low and still see prices down at 72 to 73K like I'm calling for, okay? If we look at this on a 4-hour basis, the 4-hour RSI is also looking bearish. We're rolling over here. We couldn't even get above the 60. Yes, you've broken out of your downtrend, but just because you break out of your downtrend doesn't mean you have to move higher, right? Here, you broke out of your downtrend over here, and I used this example last night. You know, here's your downtrend in the 4-hour RSI. You broke out of it here, wherever that was. Did you go lower still? Did you see lower prices? Yes, you did. You went lower, okay? It happens. We have different readings now, don't get me wrong, but same kind of principle. Just because you broke out of your downtrend doesn't mean you're a result of going lower. And the reason why I'm the most convinced above all else that we do have lower to go is this bullish butterfly pattern, which might sound silly to some people, but it's a thing. The bullish butterfly. Bullish butterfly is a bullish pattern. It does implicate that we're going to go higher. But before then, we have to complete the thought. The thought is from a low to a high. If this is a bullish butterfly, and I think it is, it looks perfect for one. Look it up. Bullish butterfly harmonic pattern. It's perfect for one. We're rejecting the golden ratio time and time again. We're coming back below the 786. It's inevitable that we will see some kind of price below 7 or around 74.2K to 69.4K. I have a very strong feeling that we'll find support right there at about $72,000 to $73,000. We'll see if it happens. I've got nothing else to say. I'm going to go eat some food because I'm hungry, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Do not panic. It's a good time. It's a good time to wait if you're looking to buy more cryptos. It's not a good time to sell. How do we know that? Let's play a little game with ourselves. We're going to play a little game here, you guys, okay? Pretend that you had $1 billion in Bitcoin or $100 in Bitcoin, whatever a lot of money is to you, whatever your portfolio is. Just pretend that you got all the money in your portfolio right now and you could see the future back here and you're like, it's going to dump. I'm going to sell perfectly right here. Now you can't see the future. Now your future seeing capabilities are gone. Sorry. You sold the top perfectly. You have a bunch of capital on the side right now in your hands. You have all your money. Would you consider buying here if you sold the top perfectly? If you had all your capital? Absolutely you would. Maybe you don't buy all of it. Maybe you don't get 100% back into the markets, but you'd probably get a good bit back into the markets. What's going on with my voice, man? Whew, I don't know. Need some water. But I'm almost done with this video. If you sold it perfectly, would this not be an appetizing opportunity to buy? Of course it is, right? So why would you sell here? Even if you knew it was going lower or you believed it was going lower, if you timed it perfectly, you'd still probably DCA from here and down. So why would you sell here, right? The only reason why anybody would sell here is because they didn't sell here and they want to make up for it. If that's you, you're playing off of your emotions. The market is playing off of your emotions. Don't let them. Endure. You've already endured so much. Don't mess it up for this little pip here. We're about to rip. We're about to see new all-time highs. It's a matter of weeks. It's a matter of months before this move resolves itself to the upside. And when it resolves itself, where it's going to go is somewhere around 100 and I would think 160 to $175,000. Okay. This is not the time at 81K to sell, even if you're convinced it drops another $9,000 or $8,000 from here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if I could say it simply, don't sell the lows. Hit the like button though. Subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.